Cali.
Jump up to get beat down.
What's up, world? It's your man, MrSan44Man, and you're tuned in to Detroit Raw Show, only on YouTube.
Tonight, a caddy car theft. It wasn't exactly well planned. The thieves did get away with a pricey ride, only to be caught on camera. Fox News' Andre Isom live now in the newsroom with the video you have to see. Andre.
Well, the homeowner wants the car thieves to see themselves on real reality TV to say, shame on you, and get a job, too. Look at these three dudes strolling up this driveway on Racine on Detroit's east side. Number one, none of them live here. Number two, they have no good reason to be here. And number three, you probably know what they're doing here. And just in case you thought this gesture meant, come on, let's go cut this guy's grass, it doesn't. It's more like, come on, let's break into this Buick.
These got to be some real idiots.
Says Joe Bragg for stealing a car and so much more.
These guys are amateurs.
Follow Joe and I on this journey, cause it'll have you saying, these three stooges had their sights set on this brand new 2013 Blue Regal. One of them got into the driver's seat, and the other two dopes did the dirty work, pushing the ride with their rumps. And during the heist, how about checking for cameras, crooks? No, they didn't, but if they did, they didn't care.
The camera alarm's triggered that somebody was entering the driveway.
And that alert shows up on Joe's cell phone, and guess what? It's also in line of sight of the thieves.
The person that's in the house, she was actually in there dialing 911 at the same time and had them on the phone while the guys were actually doing everything.
And while these morons were in the middle of this hot mess,
He hollered at them. First guy looked up and ran, and then the second guy told him, no, come back.
because the criminal's job is never done, and in this case, never done right, clearly these out-cold car crooks were not watching where they were going. They're trying to steal a car, but it looks like they've never driven one.
They ended up breaking the water spout inside of the house. And once they broke out, they had real guts and went and got their van, pushed the car off the house, backed it back out the driveway, and then turned the car at an angle that they couldn't get to, so they drove on the neighbor's grass to back the car up, pushed it backwards, then he went across the street on other neighbor's grass, turned his van around, came back behind her car, and just jammed it and just pushed the car all the way around the block.
And Joe here is just outdone by this demonstration. Dumb.
It's just like America's Funniest Videos. I would say give it up. Give it up.
Yes, please, give it up. That car was found stripped 30 minutes after the cops came, and now Joe is hoping the guys who took it are found too.
Well, at least we know what they look like. Does it have broad daylight? Did anybody see anything? Did neighbors hear the woman scream?
Well, as far as the woman screaming, I don't know. But Joe did say that he later found out that neighbors did see something going on. They saw that hot mess, but they didn't want to get involved because they thought one of the guys had a gun because he kept pointing inside his waistband. So they didn't want to get involved. They just called the police, which is the right thing to do. So we'll see what happens.
As you said earlier, these guys need to get a job to stop stealing from the people in
He
Detroit.
didn't want another child, so he plotted to kill his pregnant girlfriend by setting her on fire and shooting her. Well, she and the baby survived, but he and his accomplice are now headed to prison. Warren Podell takes us inside the Mount Clemens courtroom where those two men learned their fates.
Even though you did not light the match or pull the trigger, you orchestrated perhaps one of the most heinous crimes imaginable.
Today in a Macomb County courtroom, 23-year-old Jamal Rogers adjusted his shackles while waiting to learn his fate after plotting to murder his girlfriend and unborn child.
With respect to your murder first-degree conspiracy conviction, you will be sentenced to life.
Rogers is the ex-boyfriend of victim Latanya Bowman and the father of her son. This morning, Judge Coretti sentenced him to life behind bars. This after the two Warren men kidnapped Latanya, doused her with lighter fluid, set her on fire, and shot her in the shoulder.
You diabolically and in cold blood plotted, schemed, and arranged the murder of your unborn child.
And with a kiss and a flash of the peace sign, Rogers left the courtroom. Police say he wanted Latanya dead because Rogers didn't want another child. But it was his friend, Antonio Mathis, who pulled the trigger. Today, he addressed the court.
I know I'm here to receive a life sentence, meaning to be dead to society, but just like Tiny Bowman, I will only be playing dead, but I will be back. That's it, Your Honor. I just ask you, don't throw the book at me.
On your murder first-degree conspiracy conviction, you'll be committed to the Michigan Department of Corrections for a life sentence.
The victim's family filled the courtroom, most of them wiping away tears, relieved that the sentence will keep these men off the street, but it will never erase the fact their loved one narrowly escaped death. Now, Judge Coretti did address the courtroom by saying victim LaTanya Bowman was present during sentencing. Her now 1-year-old son was also there, but in the hallway with a family member. And Warren police continue to credit LaTanya that it was her quick thinking that not only saved her life, but her son's. Reporting from the newsroom, Lauren Podell, Local 4.
It's shocking. Men pulling handguns, machine guns out of their pants pockets and selling them at a local barbershop. Today, the offenders take you into the neighborhoods to see what the people who live there have to say about the ATF sting that took dangerous men off the streets in their neighborhood. The story.
It was a Local 4 Defenders exclusive. Guys pulling gun after gun after gun out of their pants and coats and selling them to undercover federal agents. This sting all went down in a barbershop set up by the feds in a crime-ridden neighborhood in Detroit. Defender Kevin Beets showed us that shocking video last night at 11, and today he went back into that neighborhood and talked to the people who lived there. He just got back. Kevin, what's changed since all this went down?
Devin, well, you know this area. This is Western Warren and Evergreen. It's some of the hardest hit crime areas. I mean, something had to be done. This undercover sting operation, a really good start. But the people who live there say more needs to be done. They still need help.
The video is alarming. Men pulling machine guns and handguns out of their pants to sell at a local barbershop.
Man, they selling guns in the barbershop?
But for some who live in Detroit's most dangerous neighborhoods, they see this kind of thing all too often.
I worry every day. Just coming outside of my home, I worry.
Detroit residents appreciate the sting operation by the ATF, where dozens of men were busted selling dangerous weapons to undercover agents who posed as barbers running a barbershop. They see the police cars and the EMS trucks every night, hauling babies, teenagers, mothers, and fathers to the hospitals or the morgue.
Everybody needs to step up. We can start from Lansing all the way down.
The agents posing as gun buyers put their lives on the line, and they say they will do it again and again if it takes guns off the street.
Yeah, a lot of individuals would actually carry long guns up to the location. Say long guns, shotguns, long gun rifles, and they would stick them down their pants leg and walk in with them.
Residents in the Brightmoor area where the bust went down say shootings and murder are no stranger on these streets. They say this sting operation is a big step in the right direction.
They got a nice chunk of, dangerous weapons off the streets.
Today, a family store sits where the barber shop was, and people say they feel much safer shopping in that area. Now, this was a federal case, so the penalties are more severe. Some of those who you saw in that video there will go away for 10 years or longer, which hopefully will send a message to others thinking about selling guns in the city of Detroit. Devin?
I said last night, it's almost like watching a Saturday Night Live skit. The crazy weaponry being pulled out of all the pants and on and on and on. This was a very elaborate weaponry, but a very elaborate thing for the feds to try to pull off. Setting up a barbershop. I mean, they were actually cutting hair, right?
They were, yeah. And, it's really expensive. It's not something they can do over and over again, but they wanted to do something for this neighborhood, a jump start, where they could get a lot of people and a lot of guns off the street quickly. Now what they're saying is they need neighborhood groups to step in and help them, let them know when they see somebody so that they can actually make a long-term difference in this area. They need everybody's help, and they want this to be the jump start that triggers that.
But I guess part of why they were why they let us show this and get a closer look at it is they can't do this again. You can't do this kind of thing.
That barbershop is cut. It's gone. It's gone, and that's not going to happen again. It's very elaborate. It worked well, but we won't see that for a while now.
Fascinating glimpse of what's going on. Thanks, Kevin.
Remember those marijuana raids from yesterday? Well, at one location, it's now home to a different kind of criminal, scrappers and scavengers. Yesterday, state police removed several plants in a growing operation. It was part of a raid of nearly 24 locations across 4 counties. Now, this warehouse, though, in Epworth in Detroit, the scrappers have taken over, bringing in vans and shopping carts to take whatever's not nailed down. They're doing it right in front of our cameras, and they don't care who sees them.
It's over the season for the brokers. Yeah, everybody's going in there picking it over now.
What if somebody go in there and get hurt? And it's been wide open. They've been bringing everything out of there, but somebody should have secured it.
You never know what could be up in there, and now it's open. They need to come and secure it even more.
down or something.
And have you guys seen anybody out here who owns the building now, or?
Hey, you know something? I've been staying in this neighborhood 10, 12 years.
Ain't nobody gonna come and claim it now.
Ain't nobody claiming the fame. We on Fox 2.
Now, state police says they say that it's their responsibility to secure all of the buildings after the raids, and they say they hired a company to do that on Epworth. They're working to find out which company that was that supposedly secured that site.